All right, it's 5:30. So I can see your faces. If you have anything good to share. All right, are you ready? Everybody? We're good? Okay. The May 8th, 2024 regular meeting of the Board of Selectmen will come to order. If you guys want to join us in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So to start, could I get a motion to add an item under new business regarding a resolution for emergency management performance grant for fiscal year 2023 competitive pool funding?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is second. Any discussion on adding it? And then we can discuss it more when we get to it.
No.
All those in favor of adding the item to the agenda?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you. Any public comment? Thank you, students that are here. You're always welcome to say something if you want to, but no pressure. Okay, if there's nothing, then could I get a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of April 24th, 2024?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Nope. Thank you, Stacy.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. All right, so under correspondence, we received an application from Pete Robinson for the beautification committee. So we can vote and talk about that the next meeting, but that's great. Pete was on the EDC for a long time, and I think is willing to help them with treasurer type duties, which would be very helpful. Okay, big moment. This was really hard. So we have appointments for the cemetery commission, and just as a reminder, we have 5 regular vacancies and 2 alternates. This is a new commission for those of you who don't know. And we interviewed 8 people. I thought they were all fantastic. But again, I don't know, Ben or Deb, if you want to share your thoughts on all the applicants, sure. And then we can do a vote at the end. Do you want to start?
The only thing that wasn't spelled out was how many of the terms would be 1 year, how many would be 2 year, and how many would be 3 year. Right. So I just randomly, I picked 2 1 year, 2 2 year, and 1 3 year.
Okay.
So I'd like to nominate William Fike and June Crow for 1 year terms. Oh, I should have. I'm sorry.
No, shake your head.
Give me the list. Oh, for 2 year terms, Suzanne Madison and Rebecca Nolan, and for a 3 year term, Alan Head, and alternates Liz Wood and Kathy Vargas.
Sorry, let me just get this down again. So alternate was Kathy and
Liz.
Liz Wood as alternates, and then you said Rebecca.
Rebecca and Suzanne for a 2 year, Alan Head for 3 year, and William Fike and June Crow. Is it June? Yeah, June Crow for 1 year.
Okay.
And
Okay.
no particular reason for the order,
Right.
really, other than, the only thing I would add, William Fike, all great candidates, by the way, and William was, I thought, particularly impressive. And
People that age.
oh my God, yeah.
You guys
Just
probably know Will
fantastic.
Fike from, he graduated last year, but we never get younger people on these commissions, and if you guys are ever interested.
Yeah. Well, I just thought, so, but anyway, to finish the thought, being so young, I thought he may appreciate the 1 year term, and if he chooses to go on after that, fine, but he, life, things change at that age, so, he might just to give him an easy out, that's all. But, no slight intended.
Okay. No, that's good to know. All right, thank you. And then Debbie, what were yours?
Okay, so I did not pick 1, 2, or 3 year terms at all. Although I will say Rob Simmons had indicated that he would be interested in a 1 year term, and that kind of fell into my decision making.
Okay.
Again, I think if we could have had all 8, it would be ideal. I mean, it was difficult to pick one, to cut. I didn't even really, I looked a little bit at alternates and regulars, but I was like, okay, I'd like to have them all because they all have different backgrounds. However, I understand we can't do that. So I ended up really looking at their experience, their volunteer, what they've done in the past, what they could give to the commission, what kind of different things. And again, I was still struggling to come up with one that, you know, how do I rank them? So then I started looking at balance across town, like, you know, where do they live? And so how do we get, you know, kind of a balance across town? Because a lot of them seem to be in Pawcatuck. So what I came up with, and they're in no order at all, would be, let's see, Suzanne, Will, and I agree with you. You know, Will was outstanding, absolutely. Rebecca, Elizabeth, Rob, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I had to basically choose between Catherine
I'm just looking at the list in order.
Okay.
Suzanne,
William, June.
Oh, June, okay.
Yep.
June, Rebecca, and
Elizabeth, and Rob.
And Rob, okay.
And then I had to pick one more. I went back and forth between Catherine and Alan, and as I said, it was really, I ended up selecting Catherine a little bit based on her financial background, which is something that the others don't have, and also because of where she lived. And Alan lives, she actually lives on Flanders Road,
Okay.
whereas Alan is on West Vine, and we already had someone kind of on the lower end of the Pequot Trail in my group, so, I mean, that may be a silly one. I didn't really look at alternate versus regular member. The only thing I thought of was Rob said he was interested only in 1 year, and I would encourage Alan, if he was interested, to have kind of like a little member-elect type thing. If he came to the meetings, then maybe he could step into that 1-year position. So I don't know how helpful that is, because I didn't pick an alternate.
No, it's helpful, and I think, so I struggled, again, with all of them. I thought they all were unique and different, and it was wonderful, they all came out. I actually struggled also when I narrowed it down between Catherine and Alan. I was really struggling, but I did have Rob on my list, so maybe Ben, you also, and you don't have to answer this, but if the vote's gonna come down between Catherine and Alan, because you had both of them, you only had Catherine, and I'm struggling with which one to vote for. Do you have a strong
I don't
preference?
have a strong preference.
Between Catherine and Alan?
I think they were all good.
They were all really
All very good.
and different, because Alan had the genealogy,
Yep.
and then, yeah, Catherine had the financial.
Yeah.
I think they'll all do fine.
All right, so maybe we'll go with Catherine, since you had her anyways, and I like her scientific analysis, that she, but we'll encourage Alan, if he's up for it, to stay involved,
Yeah.
because likely Rob will be coming off in not too distant future. And then, but Susie, we do have to name alternates, right? So, Ben, since we've now narrowed it down with our two votes,
No, this is your list. You gotta sort it out.
you had, though, Catherine and Liz as your alternates?
Yeah, not for any particular.
Not for me. Do you have any strong feelings
I
about?
have no strong feelings. I am fine with that.
I mean, I'm sure they'll all
Yeah,
remain
participate,
engaged,
yeah,
and there will be
yeah.
seats, permanent seats coming up
Yeah.
next year,
Yeah.
so.
The only thing is, I might, just because Liz was like a driving force behind this, and I'm sure she wouldn't mind being an alternate, but I might pick somebody else for an alternate. We could keep Catherine as one of the alternates. So I don't know if it makes sense to make Rob an alternate, since he's not interested in staying on that long, or if it would be better to have like someone like, I don't think Rebecca's been on many boards before, or
She's hard worker.
she's a really hard,
Yeah,
or
and like June, she's a really hard worker.
or
Worked with her for years.
Suzanne. I don't know if somebody else would make sense as an alternate.
Maybe we could make Rob the alternate.
Their alternate.
I don't know how that works with the 1 year, but
Well, isn't an alternate just a one-year position?
I think an alternate just, it could be in, whenever somebody opens up, they move up into it. So.
but I don't think that would mess stuff
I
up
don't-
if we did that, if we made him an alternate.
Yeah, since he said he didn't really want to be on it
Yeah.
all that long.
Yep.
Or, I'm just trying to think, did anybody else jump out, somebody who indicated in their interview that they wouldn't mind being kind of an alternate or less formal, or hadn't really been on a committee and could learn more? Like Catherine hadn't really been
Catherine
on
was the
one.
only one who really said she hadn't been on one, so I agree that she would be a good alternate.
I feel like Liz and Suzanne were kind of strong. Will. Okay, so yeah, let's make, because you think we wouldn't want to make Rebecca an alternate because you think she'll jump in more to do stuff?
That was what Ben had said. And I know I've worked with June on committees for years, and she's a really hard worker, although she hasn't been on town committees, but, I mean, so that's a possibility as well.
Yeah. Okay, let's make Rob, if we're fine with it, Rob and Catherine alternates. Everybody else will be regular members, and we don't need to assign right now their terms, Stacy, right, when we've done this in the past?
Oh, yeah?
What?
Yeah.
So how do they get assigned their terms?
Usually we just ask, or they kind of decide, and we'll put them into the spreadsheet, or kind of just assign, right? Okay, so could I get a motion then to appoint Suzanne, Will, June, Catherine, I'm sorry, Suzanne, Will, June, Rebecca, and Elizabeth as regular members, and Catherine and Rob as alternate members of the Cemetery Commission.
So moved.
Do you want to second?
Second.
Second? Okay, and then all those in favor?
Aye.
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 And the motion carries. All right, so we have a Cemetery Commission.
And I definitely would encourage,
I know, I wish we had
talk
eight.
to them, encourage Alan, you
Yeah.
know, it's really kind of,
Yeah. And people can sometimes come off sooner once they get started, so yeah, we'll encourage Alan to stay engaged, and hopefully he will, because that was wonderful. Okay, so nothing else under old business. New business, very exciting. We do have Jim Sullivan here. If you guys have questions, you can provide a more detailed overview if you want. Do you want to? You want to be on film? You want to come up here?
No, I don't.
Just a voice in the background.
We're talking about CDBG?
CDBG grant application project.
Okay, yeah, so we did an RFP for a CDBG grant application
CDBG.
writer.
Yeah.
And that in itself is a process, so, you know, we got a 150-page document to an application for a CDBG grant, so you need somebody qualified to do that. In fact, this money is passed through, it's federal, CDBG money is federal money, it's passed through the Connecticut Department of Housing. And actually to participate in this grant as a writer or even a project manager, you need to be certified by the Department of Housing. So there's a limited number of people or firms that even qualify to do this type of work. So we just sent the RFP out, and we did only receive one proposal. Unfortunately, that was from ECHO, which is the
Eastern Connecticut Housing Opportunities.
Well qualified. The president is Julie Sadden, she's well known in the town here. She worked with us in several projects. Very, very highly qualified. Molly Back, our grants administrator, and I, we both reviewed the proposal, graded it, got together and did our analysis, and we both feel that they're highly qualified. And the close fee is for $9,500, which we think is very reasonable. If the grant is successful, we can actually pay for that fee out of the grant proceeds. Right now, we'll be paying out of the cost of the grant application out of general fund.
And how much potentially is the grant?
$400,000, I believe.
And is this something that in the future, could Molly become qualified for this?
Well, even to get the grant, somebody in the town has to be registered with the Department of Housing. I may still be. It was 4 or 5 years ago. I don't know how often you have to renew it or maintain it. So Molly will be going through that process, becoming certified for the town. But the short answer is probably not. Now, like I said, this is it could be a 150-page application, and you need to be well versed. This is all these people do.
Yeah.
Is write grants like this. You know, Molly will certainly be doing most of our applications going forward. But this is really specialized information and skills that she would have to do nothing but CDBG were to be
Could
qualified to
she,
do that.
at some point, maybe assist in the process to bring the cost down?
Yeah, and just to give you a sense, like, this doesn't come up, like, the whole time I've been in this role, we've been waiting for this grant to
Yeah.
ever come out and have this, and this is the first time
It's a
it's
one-time
happened,
thing.
so I wouldn't foresee this coming up, all that often. But, yeah, I think, and just to give a sense, like, she's actively right now working on 3 other grants, so it's not like there's a shortage of,
We have more than that. I mean, she's up to her eyeballs already.
yeah.
Even without the CDBG grant, she got so much money coming in. And maybe in the future, when all this grant money dries up at some point, we might be able to get it more specialized and focus on those type of things. But right now, she wouldn't even have the bandwidth.
Okay, no, just
That's a
asking
good point.
questions.
Any other questions about the RFP award? Just really, I'll be super quick, but just since there are students in the room, the grant would give the town funding to act as like a loan program for low-income individuals to make housing repairs. So we, through federal ARPA kind of money that we got years ago, we did a pilot project for this, and we've been able to help a few homeowners, but that money only goes so far. We had $150,000, so this would be for up to $400,000 to spend over 2 years. And so hopefully we'd be able to help more residents in the community stay in their home or have home improvements. We've been able to fix 2 points of egress, someone who's going to be evicted and have to leave her home, and now not only can she stay there, but she can actually rent out 2 other floors for additional income. And then another couple seniors in the community had a leaking roof, and we were able to help fix it, and they otherwise weren't going to be able to. So that's the kind of thing this money would be used for.
And we do have an existing, mostly CDBG revolving loan fund already set up, which has,
70.
but from 1983, I think it has about $300,000 of outstanding loans still.
And we've gotten like 70,000 back recently.
We have 70,000 that's been paid back, there's still like 300,000 outstanding.
So there's $70,000 in that account to be
Yeah.
used?
Yeah,
we
so
could then apply to this if
we
we-
get this 400, we'll add that to it, and then we'll say, we have $470,000 of pot of money to send out as new loans possible.
Gotcha.
So the way this program works is if they sell the house, then
We're the first lien.
we're the first lien and the money gets paid back. So
Yep. Yeah. It's a good program, in my opinion. All right, okay, so if there's no more discussion, all those in favor, bless you.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. And Jim, thank you for your work. This was a really quick turnaround, and in the midst of everything else crazy, you helped get this over the finish line, so thank you. Other exciting new business is municipal solid waste disposable bags. So we have and Jill here, dynamic duo. Jim, if you want to provide a little overview, and then Jill, if you want to add to it.
I'll let Jill do it, it's her baby.
And do you want to stay there, or do you want to be on here?
I prefer to sit here, thank you. So our contract is up with Waste Zero. They are our yellow bag providers. And so we took advantage of that and put a request for proposals out, and we received 1 bid from Waste Zero. So in an effort to provide a better quality bag for the residents, we did a little research, and we had actually gotten down to almost a 1.3 mil bag. They were flex bags, which is that extruded triple ply bag. Now we're going back to the old-fashioned regular film bags at a 1.75 mil. So they're a heavier bag. I brought a couple of samples if you're interested in seeing them. The price went up just a little bit. For a large bag, it went up 2 cents per bag, and the small bags went up 1.50 cents.
What is the cost of the bags?
So 42 cents for large and 23 cents for small. So we're going to go with Waste Zero. It is convenient because we don't have any storage. I order 475,000 bags. So it's great because they warehouse them for us, and there is no additional charge for shipping. We draw off the inventory that they hold for us in Massachusetts. So that is an advantage of Waste Zero. So they quoted $156,750 for the 475,000 bags. And just ask.
How about the drawstrings?
Yeah.
That's the weak link.
I was
It's
just
not the
gonna say
bag.
that.
They,
That's where my
so we're
bad
still
phone's
going with the drawstrings.
What about, I'm sorry.
So if you want to see.
And also, are the sizes the same?
I made the large bags an inch larger, an inch longer.
Because they just seem to be an oddball size.
So
They're wide and
These are a little thicker.
The struggle
they
aisles
don't
have
seem to fit in the,
Yep,
They are
so
what they are, I guess.
I
Yeah, I
believe
guess
getting
they are.
away from the flex bags.
It's gonna help
Should
with
help.
Is gonna help.
Because what happens is they're gone, they fall, they break.
Yep,
so-
and we've had problems with the side
Yep.
seams and the heat shrinking
Yep.
and everything like that. So since we're going back to this type of bag, it should be, a drawstring should be better. You can be blue ones.
I guess the long and the short of it is there's not much we can do about it.
That's-
Apparently,
you know,
we're stuck with what we can get.
We're
Because
not stuck, we get it, because we're the best town in the entire state of Connecticut on
That's it.
solid waste management.
it wouldn't be too bad if we didn't have to have them imprinted. We probably could get other vendors, but because they're imprinted,
They have to be imprinted?
otherwise everybody would buy them off Amazon.
Oh, so you get the same color?
Sure, yellow bag.
Yeah.
So
So do they deliver to all the different stores, or do you have to do that?
we do it.
Oh, okay.
Tony, Joe calls every Thursday, Tony delivers every Friday morning, and then we bill them monthly, or we have a couple of people on
And
COPs.
how many stores? Two McQuaid's?
We're up to 12 different stores, every Chucky's, Henny Penny's, Stop and Shop, Big Y,
Okay.
all the area
Well.
stores. Yep,
Thank you.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks for everything.
Yeah.
Just again, because we have you guys here, I think we should maybe just share a few facts about how much lower our trash per capita is than recycling and composting. It's a few fun facts.
a few fun facts that, right, after today's long day, it is. So per capita for the state of Connecticut, the average resident has 720 pounds annually, and Stonington is 400 pounds annually. So the yellow bag program does work. It encourages residents to recycle more. They don't want to use the yellow bags because it costs money to buy the bags. So if you can keep the recycling out of your yellow bag and recycle it for free, it doesn't cost the resident anything, and it doesn't cost the town anything to recycle. So there's a lot of advantages to the pay-as-you-throw program. So
And what
as long as-
percentage of towns have that same program?
How many towns have pay-as-you-throw?
Yeah,
A handful.
really.
Almost none. It's like politically unpopular, but proven to work. Most of Massachusetts has it, but
Yeah.
Connecticut just cannot move it
They
over.
can't seem to, yeah.
It's really
So
sad,
silly, yeah.
especially since we have a waste crisis and nowhere to send our trash, and it's terrible for the environment. but-
No, I mean, it was immediately obvious when we started using them. that
Right.
they were
And now that
used.
we're taking the food waste out of it,
Yeah.
so that's, that's even more. We're still averaging, even through the winter months, we're still averaging almost 15 tons a month, which is, during the summer, we were getting closer to 23, 24 tons
For food.
per month. So I expect that to go back up. We've had a lot of push with the program. A lot of people were pleased to see that it's been renewed for the year. So that has an impact on,
And we don't have to pay for disposal?
no.
As of
it's-
now, the
it's-
state.
Yep, it's still another grant. It's good until February 2025. SCARA is moving fairly quickly on their food waste transfer station that they're building in Preston. So that means I won't have to transport the food waste all the way to Johnston. We can do it right here in Preston.
So when the grant runs out, though, it's still being incinerated, right?
It'll still be,
It's still being incinerated, the food waste?
yep, anything that goes in the yellow bag, all yellow bags.
For the-
No,
Yeah,
the
green
green
bag.
bag, the green bag, the food waste.
It goes to
Oh,
the
it's
anaerobic
going to an
digester.
anaerobic digester
It is.
in Johnston, Rhode Island, where they turn it into renewable energy, and the remains are composted.
So do they, but they charge they charge a tipping fee?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's where
It
the
is
bin
less.
comes
It is $10 per ton less than incinerating it.
in. So once, if we didn't have the grant, we'd still be paying for it.
Yes. But that's where Preston's transfer station through Scarrow will come into play. People could buy their own biodegradable bags and bring them to the transfer station, and then we would just transport them up to Preston. Still removing heavy wet food waste after we know that. So we just need to get more people involved in the program.
And we've lost the pink bags, however, there is this across the street at Human Services?
Yep, so.
Or at the transfer station,
They
correct?
pulled out quickly, Simple Recycling, didn't really give us any notice, just up and left Connecticut. But it is apparel impact. They're a great company, family-owned, veteran-owned. They do a lot with textile recycling. They give a lot back to the communities. They are Massachusetts and New Hampshire based, but they do give to their communities. It's no charge for us. They put the shed there. They collect it. It actually has cameras and monitors in the shed. So it'll never overflow. You won't see it in the parking lot. And everything that they collect stays in North America. So there is no shipping it to third world countries or anything like that. They keep everything right here, which is always good to hear.
And it's
so
open
it's
24/7, so you can bring your textile recycling to Human Services shed, like sheets, old shoes, anything.
So it doesn't have to be anything usable, though?
Nope, it could be-
No,
yeah.
no, because if it's really in bad, tattered shape, they'll still use it for fiberglass or pet bedding
Okay.
or something like that.
So I had, and I don't know if I told you this, I saw something, I was up in another town where at their transfer station and a couple other places, they had a way to collect, they're basically they're 10 cents, the cans and the bottles that if people didn't want to bring them back to the store, they could put them in there and then the town used that money. It was money that went towards town recreation programs.
Your redemption, yeah.
A redemption center,
Yeah,
yeah.
so I don't know if we'd ever consider that, because that is an additional, somebody obviously has to take them somewhere, but.
The state was actually giving some grants too, but unfortunately our region wasn't part of that. That grant was more
Yeah.
the.
This was up in
cities.
Glastonbury where I saw it. so
Yeah,
it's-
so we would have to pay for it. How many people we would get doing that, I'm not too sure.
Yeah, wouldn't you think that if they're willing to bring them to the transfer station, they'd be willing to bring them back to the...
Yeah, unless they
Fund
wanted to
purchase.
do it as a donation, but,
Scout project.
yeah.
Something the town would be looking into probably before that would be separating glass. So I'd like to get glass out of the single stream and do something with that. So that's kind of what road we're going to be taking next, is probably pulling the glass out of it and doing something better with it.
Because we're leaders.
Yeah, that's on the.
You guys do such a good job.
Oh, I thought it was because we drank a lot.
So there's no other questions for Jill. Sorry to put you on the spot, but thank you. You guys do really great work. All those in, no, you gonna make a motion? Okay, sorry, I'm gonna skip that step. Could I get a motion to award the bid to Waste Zero in the amount of $157,875 for municipal solid waste disposable bags?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion, further discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any abstain or no? Aye, motion carries. Street number assignment. Map 142, Block 1, Lot 1G becomes 498 Lantern Hill Road, Jointon, Connecticut, 06378. Could I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Is there any report from the zoning enforcement officer? Is there any report from the zoning enforcement officer on that?
Report?
Yeah, I mean, where does the request come from? From the homeowner or from the...
No,
Oh, no,
from
it's
zoning.
from planning and zoning, yeah. Yes.
From the commission?
I'm sorry?
From the commission?
It's
Yeah,
Oh, is
it's
it
in
very
your
last
packet, it's
page.
from Candy Palmer.
Okay, that's what I was asking.
And, yeah, so she works with the police department, signed off on it, the tax assessor, and then the first select.
Here we go, I got it. I didn't see it.
All those in favor? Thank you, Penny.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. All right, last one. So what we added is the Emergency Management Performance Grant. So this resolution we've been doing this every year, but for this grant, we apparently need to redo it. So this resolution authorizes the first selectman to enter into, execute, and deliver documentation regarding the Emergency Management Performance Grant fiscal year 2023 competitive pool of funding. The special grant opportunity provides funding up to $25,000 to renovate or re-equip local emergency operations centers. Could I get a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
Here, a second.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, so
Yep.
we've done this before, but what is this specifically for?
So this one, they asked us to redo it because we're putting in, or have put in, for a grant through the police chief for making some upgrades, some of the final upgrades they need to their emergency operations center. And yes, so they said in the directions that the past resolution was fine, but then they reaffirmed today that they actually would like an updated resolution in order to process the grant. Is that fair?
Makes sense. Thanks.
Anything else? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Okay, we're on to comments. Ben, do you want to start?
I've got nothing this one thing.
Okay.
I have just a couple.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, one quick thing. My mic is working, so I'm just going to have to listen. Andy Meek, I understand, put in a resignation for planning and zoning, and I just wanted to take the opportunity to thank him for his service. And he's been a great voice in the Planning and Zoning Commission. I, for one, am certainly going to miss having him.
Thank you for saying that.
Thank you. No, I agree with
Thank
you.
you. He's been wonderful, and his perspective has been
Yes.
really valuable. So yeah, we'll thank him. And then if anyone's listening and interested, it will be an opening, and people can apply on the website, and also probably be something going into the paper. Debbie?
Okay, I just have a couple things. First, I'll start with the Boathouse Park. I went to the meeting on Monday. They hadn't had a meeting in a few months, even though there's been quite a bit going on behind the scenes. So it was a way to kind of update the committee on everything that's happening. And the hope is that Downs, the construction manager, will be able to attend the next meeting and give them an update on kind of what's happening with regard to the pre-construction estimate and their idea of phasing and timing. So that's pretty much it. I mean, there were a lot of discussions on funding and where the rest of the money's going to come from and what are the chances of the grants, but it was a good meeting. I did have one member bring up another possible grant. I'll reach out to Molly, and I don't know if she's already aware of this one. It's Ducks Unlimited. And apparently they do grants for living shorelines. And so one of the members had spoken with somebody at an event in Rhode Island, and they were saying, oh, well, we do those kind of grants.
Who are they?
Ducks Unlimited. They're like a nonprofit that does all kinds of different wetland, water body, helping ducks and not just ducks. It's, but it was nice to hear that, and they had told them, oh yeah, we have grants and a lot of people don't apply, so it's definitely worth a shot to try to do that. So that's one thing, and I just wanted to touch base on a couple other things, and they are with regard to the recent budget election. I had a lot of people say to me, oh, I didn't know about it, I didn't get a card in the mail. And it's like, we don't send cards in the mail, we can't, it's very expensive. So I know we had kind of batted this idea around before, but might be possible to do some kind of a survey out to people? How would you like to be notified, knowing that you're not going to get a card in the mail? I'm just curious to see what people say, and
Yeah, I think it's so hard. I don't mean to be apathetic. We can always try, but I think, again, like we were saying, the surveys for the zoning update, this is a huge moment in our town's future direction, and whether it's choosing to stay the same or change. And I mean, we've had 200 people respond. I mean, like, it's.
Oh, wow, in our
That's a lot.
entire.
I know, and that's what people are like, oh, that's actually a lot. You're like, so I think it's just hard. I am cautiously optimistic that the app that we're gonna be putting forward, it'll take some time to get traction, but it will help. Because if anyone says they're not, aware of something, the first question will be, have you downloaded the Town of
Yeah.
Torrington app?
Yeah.
And they'll get a push alert for something like the budget vote and the budget meetings.
Yeah, okay.
So I think we're trying to put most of our focus on this app. And then somebody said, you could put up some better signage, so I'm like, we can look at all that, but I think it's hard, like we said, if you're not, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in the past, I know the school has put out at least a notice or on their sign,
Well, I
but
was
they
going to
didn't
say,
do that
the high
this
school
year.
sign, that's pretty much the closest thing we have
Yeah.
to a municipal
Yeah.
bulletin board.
Yeah.
So maybe something could go up
I mean,
on
they've
there.
done
I
it
know
in
it's
the
during the
past.
school year, but.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think they were probably trying to be cautious
I know,
and
yeah.
not overstep any
Yeah.
lines,
Yeah.
but we could tell them that if everybody agrees it's not overstepping,
Yeah.
that they could just say vote.
They don't have to say
I mean,
yes
at the
or
end
no,
of the day, I
just,
think the process is what the process
Yeah.
is. People have to get off their butts and vote if they want, and if they don't,
Yep.
then they don't.
and that's kind of my next thing I was going to say, I'm so torn with, okay, 400 and something people came out and voted, and it's expensive to run a referendum.
Yeah.
Does this mean we rethink that? And I've always felt like this is something that people should have the opportunity to weigh in on. It's very important, and, in the past, it's been, well, we couldn't fit them all into the high school auditorium, but 400 and something people can fit in the high school auditorium. So, I don't know whether.
I personally have never been to a vote that was, where the room was overcrowded. So-
Yeah, I've only been to one, and I think that was Boathouse.
Yeah.
Boathouse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about that one. But yeah, and that's why I've always been kind of pro-referendum, because it gives them the absentee ballots or whatever, but I don't know, I really have to,
I think the more democracy, the better, but it gets to a point where
yeah.
It's just, it's a lot of work for everybody.
It's a lot
you
of
just have
And
to,
money,
people have
yeah.
to do their part.
Yeah.
If they're
I think
not willing to do it.
We could revisit it as we get closer to next budget cycle, and I do also think maybe if there's another year where there's no tax change, then maybe it's really not, because I think that's the other reason why I'm sure a lot of people didn't come out. If it's a more, intense or contentious budget, then maybe, but I know I always have been fully on, like, let's send everything we can to a referendum type thing that has that type of impact, like the budget does, but the turnout was, historic low,
A
so.
historic low, I mean.
I think maybe we've just gone a little too far in that direction. I think your intention's good, but I think that maybe it's unnecessary. That's all.
Maybe everybody just trusts us so much, they don't feel like they need to.
I mean, people can petition,
They
Yeah,
can,
and
exactly, that is
certainly-
true, they can.
and
It makes
that's
sense.
how our process works, so.
So, we can obviously discuss it
Yeah.
again next year, but I just kind of wanted to
I think we
highlight.
should discuss it like soon,
Yeah.
sooner into the process.
Mhm.
And we can
Yes.
just talk with the Board of Finance too
Yeah.
and see, but no, I know, it's kind of depressing, but.
And maybe it should come up at the public hearing.
Then, well, if we didn't have if we didn't send it to a referendum too, then that town meeting might be better attended and
That's
Well,
more
yeah.
engagement.
Instead of the 7 people that come to it.
Anything else?
No, that was really all I had.
All right, so I'll be brief. I think I would just say, like, in addition to what Jim shared about the CDBG grant, it is taking up a lot of time even with a consultant trying to help work on it. So I'm working with Human Services and also with Jim to try and just pull together all this different information they need, particularly information about our existing housing loan program. And so that's just, it's great, but it's taking up a good bit of time. Then Molly's been really busy working on a second living shoreline grant, this one through the Long Island Sound Futures Fund for the Boathouse Park. I've been mostly just helping her get letters of support, and people have been really great about getting those to us. We've asked for them all by Friday. Happy to share with you guys if you wanted to see who we've asked for letters
What's the
for
estimated cost of that?
the whole project, or
No,
what
for the
we're
living
asking?
shoreline.
The living shoreline. So it depends, because one of the grants, there's 2 different ones we put out for. Some let you incorporate more. So I want to say the living shoreline itself might be in that $300,000-$400,000 range, but then one of the grants will let you add in things like the lighting, so you can see at the parking lot. So depends on what it is, but hopefully one of these grants comes through, and then I feel like we'll be in a very good place fiscally with the boathouse. But again, we've been having great conversations, ongoing still with DECD Brownfield. Once Downs, the construction management firm, gets us, which should happen in the next few weeks, updated cost projections now based in real time and based on everything, we will then go back to the Brownfield team and confirm what they'll cover with that additional 50% that we can ask for. So that will also really help.
Yeah.
And again, we'll see what they come back with. We could be actually fine funding-wise, or we're having a hunch that we're going to be short, which is why we're actively going after these living shoreline grants. So that is all really promising, though. And then they should be getting us a chart.
And the timetable.
Yeah,
for the
timetable of
phasing.
what we
Yeah.
think the phasing could look like, so people can kind of see that.
Yeah.
So that would be really good. We had a brief meeting today about the rec commission had engaged Kent Frost in doing kind of a landscape architect review for Spellman Park and what potential other reconfigurations or things could go back there based on input they've gotten from residents, obviously over the years. Next week we'll be meeting with school people, and then we're talking about maybe trying to have something in June that shows what could potentially be there, along with maybe the circus lot. So do both in one and get people to come out and engage, because we still need people to give final feedback on what they definitely want to see in the circus lot. So we can kind of finalize that plan and then move forward. Which again, maybe we'll try a survey too, I don't know. And then to get people to give feedback on a conceptual plan for over years, what could potentially be added or changed or reconfigured back
And
there.
we definitely, for both of those, have to look at the green infrastructure, because,
Yes.
both of those are really key to keeping stormwater and
Yes.
surface water clean.
And they hadn't gotten to connect with Steve, engineering intern extraordinaire, who did the 319 clean water grant for us, so they're going to try and connect now also, because we put in for all those tree filters and bioretention basins by all the hardscapes. So that is a really good point. And then, so if you guys, if you ever want to see something ahead of time, or let us know, or let Rich Ward know from Rec, but if not, maybe June, we'll try and put something together for the community, and when we get the actual concept plans, we can email it out to you guys to take a look at. And then, I don't think anything else important. We're having meetings, I think you guys kind of know this, but 2 weeks ago, a week ago, it's all planning together. And then tomorrow, we're having a meeting, likely, unless people's schedules change, with representative from the Board of Ed, Board of Finance, myself, the superintendent of schools, and a few different people from the school staff to talk about the middle school. So at the next meeting, I'll update you guys again, but they're also trying to be really, really transparent. I think everything's actually posted as of 4 o'clock today. PowerPoint that they put together that they're going to show for the Board of Ed meeting tomorrow night. And they're trying to be very, I think, open with bringing all the different people together and just talking about, there's more questions than answers right now, but they have Fuss and O'Neill going through and doing kind of review and reports, and so hopefully we'll know more in the pretty near
So it's
future.
pretty much at the stage that was reported in the paper last week,
Yeah.
I suppose. What's known and what isn't known.
Yeah, there's not really much more known at this point.
Yeah, they actually reached out to
At
me
least to
seeing
me.
if I had anything from my time on the building
Yeah.
committee, which
Nobody does.
nobody does.
Yeah.
I mean, I might have some, but I gave a lot of that away.
That's digging deep, huh?
And it's, so I have one more place I can look, but.
Yeah.
um,
So, yeah, but again, I think, I can't say enough, they've been very proactive and positive and trying to share everything and, bringing everybody together. So hopefully we'll have a better update soon, but I think after tomorrow's Board of Ed meeting in particular, there'll be more information, and then through the structural study over the next couple weeks, we'll know more. And then, anything else, Stacey, that's important? It's just very busy. But it's all good, there's challenges, but then there's a lot of good stuff happening.
Oh, I know, I had a resident ask me yesterday, any update on the other half of the thread mill? I know it was financial stuff, you know,
I wish Jim was still here. So we got the brownfield grant for them.
Yeah.
And that is a complicated structure that hasn't really, we had to figure out a lot of
Yeah.
legal protections for the town because we're basically acting as a pass-through for them to do the work. And that definitely made the work have to pause because
And I
Jim
knew
was
that's where
not
we
comfortable
were.
with, but then we've gotten through that,
Oh,
and
okay.
I believe they're able to start doing some of their work. There's also legal stuff they won't get too much into, just from the past property owner, but it's transitioned with them, so we're still having back and forth with the courts, so hopefully they're gonna be moving the bricks and cleaning up that, and so we can move through some of that. So they should be moving things along, and then I think, they're still trying to also figure out their finances, because obviously it's a really challenging site.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of it has been them privately trying to figure out where they can find funding for
Yeah.
the future phases.
No,
But it's a good point, we can, for the next meeting, I can try and get a better update on the present.
I mean, because I knew I had spoken to them, you know, a few months back, and they're very committed, so. you
Yeah.
know,
But there's no work going on.
There should
Presently.
be, I'm forgetting what it was, not, it sounded like geotech almost, like
Yeah,
for the
well, they-
ground.
Yeah, I mean, they had, I know they did their phase one.
Yeah.
So
They
they,
were starting the phase two.
we had a very mild winter, so we didn't have any snow, but did they get the work done that they had hoped to stabilize the structure?
They have pulled some
Yeah.
building permits for the internal stabilization work, and I can check with the building department where that stands, but they had pulled stuff to do some of that internal
Yeah.
stabilization work.
Yeah, I remember that, I just wasn't sure if that was held up with the
Our stuff.
financials and legal stuff, but.
I'll ask them, stabilization. Okay,
Okay, nope, that's it, thanks.
all right. All right, so I think if there's nothing else, we can stand adjourned. Good?
Sounds good.
Good. Yeah, you guys have things that